How terrific was that? As we have one of the wonderful traditions for the Vikings as they begin a game. Amir Abdullah will go to a knee. We had the flip of the coin. The Browns deferred. The Vikings received. Abdullah to a knee to the 25-yard line with the touchback. And this brings us to Kirk Cousins, number 4 QBR, number 3 overall rated quarterback by Pro Football Focus.
And when you look at what he's doing, he spreads the football around, but his main receivers are the wide receivers. That's not the case for the Cleveland Browns. They like to focus on the tight ends and the running backs, but the top 3 receivers for the Vikings are their wide receivers.
Cook and Ham in the backfield. It is a 1st and 10. Dalvin Cook, Ham the block, and a nice tackle from behind. Coming through, Owusu Koromoa. What a beautiful he's the number 1 rated linebacker in pro football with a gain of 1 to the 26. What about this offensive line of the Minnesota Vikings?
Well, they've got a big responsibility today to try and keep Kirk Cousins clean. We talked about in the open, the Browns, their defense, what they did a week ago, 9 sacks against the Bears. So that offensive line has their hands full.
Koromoa gets the start once again. 2nd down and 9. It's out to Justin Jefferson with the block out there by the tight end, Tyler Conklin with the block. It's a gain of 9. It's a 1st down out to the Viking 35.
You're going to see a lot of bunch formation out of the Vikings today. They like giving that combination and different releases so that they can free somebody up to get one-on-one or to get someone left free and cause confusion for the coverage.
You see the numbers for Jefferson last week. Justin Jefferson, a 2nd-year player from LSU. With the secondary right there. John Johnson, number 43, a new addition. He came as an unrestricted free agent from the Rams, helping this Browns number 3D. Ham, the fullback, in motion. With the 1st and 10. Dalvin Cook. Ham another block, and outside he goes into the sideline with a bad ankle. Runs for about 10 on that 1st down. So a 10-yard run right there. They move the chains again.
So Ham comes in motion. He's going to block the edge, and then the handoff just to the outside. This gives us an early indication. You're wondering how Dalvin Cook's ankle feels after missing last week's game. He's able to bounce it, get around the edge, and pick up the 1st down.
2-time Pro Bowl. There's a look at Stefanski, who had the pleasure of working with Cook when he was here. 1st and 10. And that's the tight end, Tyler Conklin, who makes the grab. Had 7 catches a career day last week against Seattle with the gain of 1. The hit there by Denzel Ward. What about this defense? And, of course, it always begins with Myles Garrett.
Well, you see those down 4. They don't like to blitz a lot, or they generally don't blitz a lot because they can get pressure only rushing 4. Kirk Cousins talked to us. He said, listen, we've got to get them to pick up their pressure. We got to get them to bring 5 guys or 6 guys because that'll create one-on-ones and matchups that favor the Minnesota Vikings. So being able to stop that 4-man rush is going to be a key.
Madison the back, 5 in the secondary, 2nd and 9, and here comes Madison, who was terrific last week. Taki with 1 hit on the play, Malik McDowell the other, and it's a gain of 2 to the Viking 49.
Well, and this is going to be a critical part for the Browns defensively today. If you look at the first 2 games, they had some issues with their 3rd down defense, and last week a phenomenal day on 3rd down, only allowing 1 conversion by the Bears.
They go to 6 in the Cleveland secondary with a 3rd and 7. O'Neal the block at the right tackle, and outside they go, and a nice catch by Jefferson. Right in front of Grant Delpit across the way, and Troy Hill on 3rd and 7. A strike of 10, a 1st down for Minnesota to the 40.
Well, you can see they're in press coverage, but you have a safety over the top. So that tells me the Browns were in cover 2-man, because in 2-man, your DBs are playing a trail technique. Great timing by Kirk Cousins and accuracy to the outside, putting it only where Jefferson could get it, and then Kevin, the catch. Jefferson's been doing that now, and just in his 2nd year, it's been pretty remarkable how quickly he's picked up the NFL game and carried right over from his time at LSU.
Good back in, 1st and 10, Ham the block, time for Cousins, wanting to go deep, and he throws a strike to Thielen. Adam Thielen inside the 20. Knocked out of bounds by Taki. It's a 22-yard strike to the Cleveland 18 on the game's opening drive. Cousins has been terrific to start.
Well, and you see Cousins wind up. He wanted to take Jefferson on the deep corner route, but at the last second, he sees Greedy Williams, 26, the corner. He sees him fall off onto the corner route. As soon as he falls off and take away the deep play, that leaves Thielen all alone, and Cousins with the accuracy and getting it down inside the 20.
Greedy Williams is starting for the injured Greg Newsome. First start for Williams since his rookie year. 1st and 10. Here comes Cook. And hit hard as he takes it by Malcolm Smith, the middle linebacker. A gain of 4 down to the Cleveland 14.
This has been a part of the field that they've really leaned on Adam Thielen. 4 touchdown receptions on the season. As we've mentioned, Kirk Cousins already has 8 touchdown passes on the season. The Vikings only have 1 rushing touchdown, so really focusing a lot on the passing game down here. That was one of the things Cousins brought up to us, is that they need to do a better job running the football down here.
4 in the secondary. It's 2nd down and 6. They come off the side, outside to Cook. With a beat on him as Taki did not play last week. He was inactive with a hamstring issue. Cook makes the grab. Gain of about 4, near the 10. With, so far, Cousins 5 of 5 through the air for his coach, Mike Zimmer. We talked about Thielen in the red zone, and he is absolutely terrific.
He just finds a way to get open. When you talk to the Browns defensively, they said, yeah, Justin Jefferson's their big play guy, and he's got that dynamic. But he said Thielen, he never quits on a play. He continues to work, and a lot of the extended plays, it's usually Thielen that gets the ball.
Cook on 3rd and 2. And around his ankles, he found Malcolm Smith, the former Super Bowl MVP, with a gain of 1. He twists to the 9 and a yard to go, so it's 4th and 1 for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, I think they try and set the tone right away. If you're Mike Zimmer, you try and send a message, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're at home. They're going to get this crowd, obviously, is going to be quiet because they're on offense. I think this is a good way to start the game if you're Mike Zimmer. Your offense has had some success moving it down. Let's find out what you got here right away.
Billings has come in on the defensive line. 11th play of the drive. 4th down and 1. Thielen on the move. It's Ham. He got the first. To the 7. Hit by Myles Garrett. Picks up 2. Move the chains. 1st and goal to go. The Vikings.
Well, that's kind of fitting for C.J. Ham. Coming into this game, he had 2 carries for 2 yards. So this is how they use him. They use him in short yardage. They'll use him as a receiver also, has a couple of catches. But excellent job by him with his vision, seeing the backside it opened up and bouncing it over there, picking up the 1st down. And now we get to test out, see what this Browns defense with their back up against the goal line.
And watch Thielen, who is in motion right now, one of the top red zone touchdown receivers. Cousins, troubling pocket, got away, on the move to the end zone, caught for the touchdown. It's Justin Jefferson.
They're going to get Cousins past the line of scrimmage.
He may have been over the line, you're right, and there's the flag, and I think you're right. I don't know how he escaped, but he found the escape hatch.
I thought he was going to be sacked, Kevin.
Wow.
The way that collapsed around him, and he snuck his way up through there.
Illegal forward pass, offense, number 7, beyond the line of scrimmage. Excuse me, number 8, beyond the line of scrimmage. This carries a loss of down, 2nd down.
McKinley's going to be the one coming from the top. He puts the pressure, forces Cousins to step up, and it looks like he's going to take off and run, and for obvious reasons, he's good 3 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Now with a little breathing space as they bring in Alexander Madison as a running back. And again, Thielen, the one to watch, the number 1 red zone touchdown receiver with 19 since 2019. 2nd and goal. It's Madison outside, hit and waylaid, and John Johnson was there. The free safety comes up to stick him, and no gain on the play. They'll remain at the 12.
Well, Jadeveon Clowney is the one that forces this to bounce outside. Excellent penetration, getting up the field and causing that to extend to the sideline. See, number 90 gets right through the gap, gets it to the outside. Taki there as well. Anytime as a defense you can stretch it to the sidelines, it gives your secondary players time to get there, and that's what the Browns did that time.
7.5-minute drive. It's 3rd and goal from the 12. Cousins. O'Neal the block to the end zone. Caught for the touchdown. Jefferson again. Worked on Denzel Ward. A 12-yard touchdown pass.
Jefferson's going to be matched up, and this is going to actually be a bracket. You've got Johnson in the backfield, and you're going to see to the outside is going to be Ward. The two of them, watch, he presses it towards the corner. He sits down right in the middle of them. That's why you see Ward so upset, 21. He gets so upset jumping up and out because he knows he has inside help. There's two guys that are supposed to be defending him. Good route running by Jefferson to push it outside, snap it off. Good timing on the throw.
Tack on one more for a 7-0 lead. Greg Joseph puts it through. Jefferson caught passes of 9, 10, and the touchdown of 12. Third consecutive game the Vikings have scored on their first possession. Top rookie receiver a season ago, Justin Jefferson. That's the touchdown pass from Cousins, who was 6 of 6. Jefferson, who grew up in Louisiana, idolized Odell Beckham Jr. And the two have been friends ever since because Jefferson's older brother had played at LSU with Beckham. He trained in the offseason with Landry. Here's the kickoff. Anthony Schwartz, the rookie from Michigan, and he is lightning quick. And he was tripped up in the play by Blake Lynch. It's a 26-yard return. This brings us to Baker Mayfield, who comes in with 246 passing yards, although sacked 5 times last week against the Bears.
Well, and Kevin, you can see how his accuracy has increased, his completion percentage, and what he's really good at is play-action pass. He's 22 of 25 on the season, and that's due to the strong running game for the Cleveland Browns.
The two-time Pro Bowler Nick Chubb is in the backfield. Beckham in motion, 1st and 10. Chubb blocked in there by the center, who is J.C. Tretter, and a gain of about 4. Put him at the 29 on the play. The offensive line. High draft picks and Pro Bowlers out there.
Well, it's interesting with Wills. You know, he had a little bit of an injury, and he's in there. Just a second-year player at left tackle, and that's where they decided to run. That was going to the left side behind Batonio, and you said Tretter, 8- and 9-year guys. So there are some veterans mixed in with some young, as you said.
Extra defensive back put in, linebacker taken out. Demetric Felton in motion, 2nd and 6. Felton, here's another rookie, and he is fast. Oh, and he's way late on the side. Nice tackle on the play. Bashad Breeland, it's a gain of 4, and he's out to the 33. What about this Viking defense? What do you see here, Trent?
Well, consider what turnover they had on that defensive side. 6 of the 11 guys are new starters. Michael Pierce, of course, opted out a year ago, so he's one of those considered new starters because he wasn't there last year. But getting this defense on the same page, they played much better last week. There were some growing pains there, but they need to be in sync today against this Browns rush attack.
Kareem Hunt is in the nickel secondary. 3rd down and 2. It's off to the tight end Hooper. Got a block, takes it upfield. Got the 1st down for Cleveland to the 45. Got 12 on 3rd and 2, and a big play for the Cleveland Browns.
Hooper's going to be to your left. They're going to let him come in because this is set up as a screen. So a couple of punches, let him come through. Then you get Wills out in front. Tretter out in front.
Impressive. They can block with the best of them. Chubb back in, 1st and 10. Mayfield chased on the play by Hunter and throws it away. I do the same thing too. When Danielle Hunter comes after you, man, watch out.
Well, and I think the Vikings have to be responsible for that. Baker Mayfield is one of the best players in the league in terms of his play fakes, carrying out fakes, and then when he has to do boots or nakeds, that time a naked because there was nobody out there to protect the edge. You're counting on Danielle Hunter to bite on the fake. But that time Hunter stayed home and nowhere for Baker Mayfield to go with the ball.
Yeah, they use a ton of play action.
A lot of it.
Chubb stays in. 2nd down, 10. Mayfield broken up beautifully on the play. Blake Lynch, second-year undrafted linebacker out of Baylor. Left inside, backs the ball away, 3rd and 10.
Well, Lynch is going to get more opportunities. Obviously, no Anthony Barr today, inactive. Gets that left arm in and is able to knock it away. 3rd and long.
Hooper caught a touchdown last week against the Chicago Bears. 3rd and 10. Hunt is in. Hunt with a block. And downfield it goes. Wide open is Higgins. Breeland there. Rashard Higgins with a terrific catch. Great throw by Mayfield. A pickup of 21. Put him at the 35 of Minnesota.
Similar to the touchdown reception that the Vikings just had, there's some confusion between corner and safety. Double receivers going up. Both defenders take one guy and leave the other guy wide open. Good recognition by Mayfield, picking up the 1st down.
Chubb in, 1st and 10. It's Nick Chubb. Into the middle. Teller tries to open some room. There's not much there. They clog it up. A gain of 3 to the 32. To James and Nate in New York.
More than just that.
That's right. No receivers in. We call this the happy package. Big fellas lead the way, and Zeke punches it in. The Cowboys, they lead 7-0.
To the Hall of Fame voice, Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins.
Thank you, guys. Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, a great 1-2 punch, much like they've got with Hunt and Chubb for Cleveland.
It has been an excellent combination for the Cowboys.
Chubb is in, 2nd down and 7. And this comes to Odell Beckham Jr. with the jet sweep. He did it last week. He runs right there. The reconstructed knee holds up. Vigil over there. Gain of about 4 as they go down to the 28 of Minnesota.
Well, I think this is a smart call just to get him involved. You mentioned last week, Kevin, he did have 1 rush on this same look. He got 10 yards. Get him going. You know, there's different ways to get your playmakers involved. Sometimes if you can't get them involved in the passing game early on, just get them involved. Get the ball in their hands.
Hunt is in, 3rd and 3. The fake, and here comes Mayfield looking for a block from Beckham, and he gets down to the 23. It's a 1st down run on 3rd and 3. Mayfield picks up 4, and they continue the drive.
Oh, Kevin, I think this was a read. I think this is one of those things that the read, the RPOs that everybody is so involved in, and Mayfield, he just looks at the outside contain. They collapse thinking it's going to Hunt. Mayfield recognizes that and gets around the edge.
Here's a 10th play of a drive that started back at the 26, and Chubb will come to the bottom of your screen. 1st and 10.
Hey, right there. Ready, go.
Bills the block. They dump it off. Njoku, the tight end. He'll plow his way down to the 16-yard line. And stopped on the play by Sheldon Richardson, a former Brown. A gain of 7 and put him at the 16 of Minnesota.
Kevin, I love the way that the Browns play to their strengths. Their strengths are the running game, play action, screens, counters, using the athleticism of their offensive line, using the multiple tight end sets. Some of this is considered old school football when you get the tight ends and running game so involved, but it really is what the Browns do well, and Kevin Stefanski doesn't have a problem leaning on it.
3 tight ends with Chubb, 2nd and 3. Bryant will lead, Chubb will follow, and they get a gain as he submarines near the 11. Hit on the play by Eric Kendricks, the 2nd leading tackler in the NFL, and it's a gain of 3, Trent.
I just got done talking about the fact that they like to run counters. I want you to watch Teller as he comes out. It's him that they're going to run this counter off of as just a step and come through. Able to pick up the 1st down and get it down near the 10-yard line. This is one of the strengths of their team. They get body on body, but they like using those athletic offensive linemen to get in space.
6-minute drive. First and 10. Chubb try to the block. They go into Conklin also was trying to divert him inside. Daniil Hunter was there with a couple others, gain of 4, and put him down to the Viking 8.
So that was a weak side run, Kevin. And the reason for the hesitation at the line of scrimmage by Baker Mayfield is they shifted when the Browns shifted everything to the right. But what Mayfield was trying to figure out is, okay, are the safeties going to rotate? If they drop that safety weak, then he doesn't have enough blockers to run that play weak. So he hesitated to wait and see what the safeties were going to do. And then he heard him say, it's okay, it's okay. So they kept with the weak side run.
Janovich in, 2nd and 6. Well-balanced drive. Chubb. Inside he drives and plows to the 6. Picks up a couple on the play. With a hit by Everson Griffin.
We're gonna get through an entire first quarter. Both teams have had the ball one time. It's just long drives, winding up the clock and moving the ball down the field.
Cousins has thrown a 12-yard touchdown pass to Jefferson. Quarter has come to a close. The Browns are on the move. They've won 2 straight. Minnesota winning last week. Let's go to the second quarter on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can. T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. And by Audi and the all-new fully electric RS e-tron GT.
Saturday, it's a day-night SEC on CBS, a doubleheader, 3:30 Eastern. Top 25 matchup, Georgia-Auburn. Then at 8, huge test for #1 Alabama. They'll head to College Station to take on Texas A&M in primetime. It all begins with the drive to Atlanta at 2:30 Eastern. Then college football today leading up to kickoff. Saturday afternoon and evening, the SEC is on CBS. A good-looking drive by Cleveland following a terrific drive by the Vikings. The running back on the first play of the second quarter is Kareem Hunt. It's 3rd and 4. 3 of 3 on third downs on this drive for Mayfield. Teller the block. Mayfield on the fly to the end zone. Oh, just right through the hands of the leaping receiver, Kareem Hunt. He was back there. Through his hands it went. It's 4th down and 4.
Well, this is one that Baker Mayfield would like to have back. It's a very dangerous throw, especially when you're that close to the end zone, to be rolling to your right. They leave Hunt wide open. He sneaks out into the end zone. Just not able to connect, gets it high as his body's going that way. Got to remember, the Browns now are the only team in the NFL where a wide receiver doesn't have a touchdown catch. Let's see if it changes here on 4th down.
And they're going for it on 4th and 4. Blocked by Conklin, but look out for Everson. Griffin off the edge on downs. Minnesota holds Cleveland in a long drive, stopping Mayfield. And Griffin, who's back as a Viking after a year away, comes up with a huge play. They lose 12. Heavy pressure. Down goes Mayfield. This U.S. Bank Stadium may be the single most beautiful indoor stadium in pro football. It is gorgeous, a beautiful day in the upper Midwest. A terrific defensive stand by the Vikings on what was a perfectly constructed Cleveland Browns drive. But on downs and a Griffin sack, they turn it over. Cousins on 1st and 10, they get through, and the pass is wide. And Jadeveon Clowney coming up the middle, pressuring and blowing up that play for Cleveland's D.
Danielle Hunter is going to get up the field and then win to the inside. Everson Griffin on the other side is going to get to the outside. This is what Mayfield, he wants to step up in the pocket because the interior part of the line is there. If he can slide up in the pocket, you got plenty of time to go through your progression. But because Conklin got beat to the inside by Hunter, that forced Mayfield to get to the outside. As soon as you drop to the outside, Griffin got pushed all the way to the outside. So give that sack to Danielle Hunter for causing that inside pressure.
Cook on 2nd and 10, hit by a couple. Delpit was there. They also had Grady Williams with a gain of a yard to the 18. Trent, that was a 15-play, 7.5-minute Cleveland drive. But there'll be some second guessing perhaps with a 4th and 4.
There will be, but I'm okay with that aggressiveness. You saw Mike Zimmer do it. He went for it on 4th down on their long drive that ultimately ended in a touchdown. Now, yes, it was different down in distance, or not a different down. They both went for on 4th down, different distance that they had to go for. But like I said, if Mayfield was able to step up in the pocket, he would have had plenty of time.
Into the nickel, 3rd and 9 for Kirk Cousins. 6 of 7 through the air. Oh, the heavy pressure up the middle, blown up by John Johnson. Johnson came through like a torpedo and blew up that play. Good call by Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator. It's 4th down. Here comes the Viking punting unit. 2 drives up the gap by the defense, stopping plays.
Good timing on the blitz. Johnson coming through untouched. They're trying to set up the screen, but Cousins doesn't have enough time. Has to throw it early. Excellent job by the defense of the Browns. Get off the field.
Jordan Berry will punt inside for the Minnesota Vikings, signed September 2nd after releasing Britton Colquitt. And deep back, Demetric Felton. A lot of speed. He's a blur from the 24. Hang of 4.87. Nice play. That's turned in for a second special teams tackle by Blake Lynch. 57-yard punt, 7-yard return. A 12-yard touchdown pass by Cousins to Jefferson. It's the Vikings by 7.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Jardians and by Uber Eats.
I stand by the Cleveland defense, forcing a punt by Minnesota. Last week against Chicago, the Browns went for it on 4th down on both of their first 2 possessions. Both times denied. Mayfield sacked. He was sacked on 4th and 4 here, deep in Viking territory, so no surprise as you take a look at the start of Stefanski from the 31 after the punt. With Chubb in the backfield, 1st and 10. Mayfield, Petonio with the block. And the twirling catch outside, grabbed by Bryant. And tackled on the play by Lynch. There's a gain of 3. Let's go downstairs to Melanie. Go ahead, Mel.
Kevin, a nice homecoming for Kevin Stefanski. Back to a place he spent his first 15 years as a coach. Hugs all around, of course, pregame. You have to imagine that was a pretty fun moment running out for the first time.
2nd down and 7.
Stefanski joined the Vikings and his assistant to then head coach Brad Childress back in 06. He'd spend the next 14 years with the organization. 2nd down and 7. Outside Beckham. Looking for a block, and sure enough, he gets one out there from Hooper. And then brought down on the play by Kendricks. Gain of 3 to New York. James and Nate.
Chiefs D being tested.
That's right. The only time Philly fans want to see a Dallas touchdown is when it's Hurts the Goddard. Strong hands. He gets in for the score. Eagles lead 10-7.
Back to Kevin, Trent, and Melanie.
You know, if you go back, Trent, to Kansas City in the Super Bowl and to today, they are 1-3.
Yeah, they've had a rough start to their season. The defense hasn't been playing well. They've had their share of turnovers. And here in Minnesota, though, we got the Browns trying to get this big 3rd down conversion as the crowd gets cranked up.
Hunt is in 3rd and 4 and knocked away. Alexander jumping right in front of the receiver. It's incomplete. It's 4th down. Here comes the Cleveland punting unit.
Mackenzie Alexander, one of the new additions to this Minnesota defense, playing nickel and playing excellent coverage. I know Browns fans are going to say they're contact. They're both going after the ball.
Gillen to punt. D.D. Westbrook is back, looking up into the sun. They're caught on the fly. 31. 2 long drives for each offense to begin the game, followed by 2 consecutive 3-and-outs. 32-yard punt. Timeout. Vikings are 1-2, losing the first 2 games at Cincinnati by 3 in overtime and at Arizona by 1 in a missed field goal. Winning last week, beating Russell Wilson in Seattle. After the punt, 3-and-out by the Browns. 1st and 10 from the 30. It's the pitch. K.J. Osborne. Look at the block by Ham. And the tackle by John Johnson ushers him out of bounds near the 40, gain of about 10. Let's go downstairs to Melanie.
Kevin Brown, starting safety Ronnie Harrison Jr. has been in the locker room since that first defensive series, being evaluated for a concussion. He has not come back out. His return is questionable. And keep in mind, this Brown secondary already down starting cornerback Greg Newsome, so they're going to have their work cut out for them.
There's Delpit, second-year player out of LSU, ruptured Achilles in camp last year, but he has played the last couple weeks. 1st and 10. Take to Cousins off the side. They come. They got him, but he passes incomplete in the back of the running back. Cook. They are bringing pressure from every angle. That time, Denzel Ward came streaming through.
Well, excellent pressure by Ward, because if Cousins has time, Thielen is open up the field, and he just comes on a blitz untouched around the edge, and there was a scissors route up the field deep. Thielen would have been open on the sideline about 20 yards deep. Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator, dialing up the pressure at the right time.
Last week, this defense of Cleveland gave up 47 total yards, 6 first downs. On the first drive today, Vikings had 80 yards and 6 first downs. 2nd down and 10. Madison in motion out of the backfield and down with the back shoulder throw. Osborne caught it, working on Green. They got him. It's a reception at the 41 of Cleveland. 19-yard strike. Acrobatic catch by K.J. Osborne.
I know the Vikings are trying to hurry up to the line, but I think this is a clean catch. I think he gets them both down, and it's not going to be challenged.
Osborne had a couple catches against Seattle.
It comes in late.
It did.
At real-time speed, it looked like he got that 2nd foot down. Let's see if we go into slow-mo here.
He's got the ball. 1, 2.
Ball secure. Elbows not down.
It is not down.
Cleveland is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed pass.
They were working on the rookie free agent out of Oklahoma State, A.J. Green, who had just come in right before that snap. And a timeout. Our hunch was it was a completed pass, and we watched it again. We talked to Gene Steratore, our rules analyst. He watched it, and he confirmed it. And let's go down to the field here, and Tony Corrente. He's talked with New York and watched it himself.
After review, the ruling on the field stands as a completed pass.
Great catch.
40-yard line, 1st down. Cleveland will be charged with their first timeout.
Excellent job by the Vikings, hurrying up to the offensive line and forcing the hand of Kevin Stefanski to throw the red flag, because he really didn't have much of an opportunity to look at a replay. He had to go more on gut and just hope that he could get an incompletion. But of course, the play stands as a completion, and that takes away a replay.
And a timeout. So they've got 2. Cleveland does. Madison in the backfield. Thielen on the move. 1st and 10. Alexander Madison. And they'll take it in before Owosu Koromoa makes the stop. Gain of 5. Down to the 35-yard line. Like we said, he was the PFF Defensive Rookie of the Week. He was terrific last week, and starting again for a 3rd time. He is a rookie out of Notre Dame.
And he's really kind of a hybrid linebacker. When you look at his size, he's got the size of like a lot of the strong safeties around the league have that type of size. So he's a phenomenal player with great speed.
Cook on 2nd down and 5. Blocked by Ham. Blocked out there by Udo. And it was stuffed on the play. A lot of guys in there, including Lee and Greedy Williams. There is no gain on the play. They'll stay at about the 35. Lee was a former 7th-round pick by Minnesota. Signed to the active roster off the practice squad back in mid-September after Anthony Walker was put on IR. 6 in the secondary, 3rd and 6. Cousins 7 of 10. And Cousins throws incomplete for Thielen. Covered on the play by Ward. Wide pass, crumbling pocket, pressure up the middle from 6'5" Malik Jackson as he was shoving the way. So now it's 4th and 6. It looks like they're going to keep the offense out there.
Well, this is kind of no man's land. You've either got to try a 53-yard, 54-yard field goal, Excellent job by Denzel Ward on that last play, though. Knowing Thielen to the outside, Cousins could see the rotation was man-to-man coverage as Cook went in motion to the slot.
6 defensive backs. Madison is in, had 112 on the ground last week against Seattle. They need the 30. Cousins blocked by Hill and broken up. There's Ward again in front of Thielen on the dive. On downs, the ball goes to the Browns. These two teams are doing the same thing to each other. Long drives, 3 and outs, stopping 4th down conversion tries. 7-0 Minnesota.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. And by KFC. Order on KFC.com or through the app.
Such wonderful history with the Vikings. All-time greats: Fran Tarkington, the Purple People Eaters, Alan Page, Carl Eller, Jim Marshall, Gary Larson. We just saw head coach Bud Grant there at the end. They just lost Mick Tinglehoff, who was the center and as good as there was at that position. On downs, here's a handoff now as Cleveland gets it back on 1st and 10, and Hunt, who led the NFL in rushing with Kansas City in 2017, picks up 4. Trent Green, he's out to the 40. Hit by Weatherly.
Well, they're just going to stick with the run. That's what they do. And it doesn't matter that they had a 3 and out last time or not. This is what they are focused on. See the time of possession, and this has been a back and forth. I like the aggressiveness of both head coaches going for it on 4th down. The Vikings going for it twice, and the Browns going for it once.
2nd down and 6, and Hunt remains. Mayfield 6 of 10. Hunt pulling is J.C. Treader, and then tackled nicely on the play by Xavier Woods. It is a gain of 5, close to the first. Put him at the Cleveland 45.
Well, there's different ways you can pull guards out into space. You're going to get the center and the guard that are going to lead this play for Hunt to the outside. See how the outside collapses in, and then you get the center guard. They come around to the outside. You get Treader and Batonio to get out into space, get helmet on helmet. See how excited I get when I talk about offensive line play and blocking?
It's the core of the game. What happens at the line of scrimmage?
Well, here we go. The line of scrimmage will decide this 3rd and short.
3rd and 1. Baker Mayfield. Hunt. Look at him take it for the 1st down. Gaining 2 on 3rd and 1 to the 47. Submarines for the first for the Browns. The drive continues.
Well, and that's a little bit different look. You put Kareem Hunt as a fullback, and Demetric Felton, the rookie, to the side. You just do a little fullback dive. Janovich is usually the guy that does that, but Hunt picking up the 1st down.
Sheldon Richardson's on that defensive line for the Minnesota Vikings, taking on his old team, the Browns. Let him go in April 1st and 10. Hunt, Treader a block, and a tackle there by DJ Wonham. Gain of 4 to the 50 to New York, James and Nate.
A boxing match back and forth, Nate.
That's why Patrick Mahomes surveys the field, goes to his progression, he finds Tyreek Hill. Just like the animal kingdom, a cheetah surrounded by eagles. The Chiefs lead 14-10.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
That's why he's on CBS this morning, right there. That's why Nate is. That's why he's on that show.
I had no idea where he was going with that.
I did. I knew exactly what he was going to say. He's terrific and doing a wonderful job in the morning. 2nd down, 6. Mayfield. Oh, look at the time. He's got all day, and he goes outside and hits Demetric Felton. And he's got the 1st down. Vigil was over there, comes up limp, 41-yard line of Minnesota, pickup of 9.
You're going to watch as now all of a sudden you look upfield, you got a double team deep upfield, you got a double team in the middle of the field. He works through the progression, has plenty of time, gets it to the outside. Felton with an excellent move to get to the outside, or get the 1st down.
Conklin trying to give a block there, as is Treader, and then Hunt is stacked up and brought down, and Cameron Dantzler, who used to be a starter and now comes off the bench, a gain of a yard to the 40-yard line. You've had the same defensive starters for the Minnesota Vikings for 4 consecutive games. Second down 9. Anthony Barr hasn't played all season. He's listed as a starter, but he hasn't played all season. Outside they go. Second 9. Hunt hit by Vigil. Down low. They whack him out there with Dantzler. Close to a first down near the 30-yard line. Let's see what it's 31 is where they put it. Hunt out of the backfield with the catch. He's deadly there.
Looks like a face mask that they missed, but Hunt was a little slow getting up. Watch that left arm, gets the face mask. Penalty not called though, but the low hit on that left leg, he tapped his helmet and said, you know what, I got to stretch this out a little bit. That was a heck of a shot he just took.
Nick Chubb is in. 84 yards last week against Chicago on the ground. One of the top 5 running backs in pro football. Bryant on the move. Mayfield, Chubb, the hole, and he'll slice. Get brought down after a gain of 5 by the linebacker Blake Lynch to the 26-yard line of Minnesota. Well, back in our CBS studios in New York, the Verizon Halftime Report being compiled for you. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Hall of Fame coach Bill Count. Scores, news, highlights of this week 4. All coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. You saw Kirk Cousins. He's 7 of 12 with a touchdown pass. Mayfield 8 of 12, 66 yards. Another long drive here. Second down and 5.
So 2 plays in a row now. They've had 3 tight ends and only 1 wide receiver, Odell Beckham. And that time, Mayfield changes the play at the line.
Good tackle there by Everson Griffin. He's got a sack and a big one earlier in the game. And they limit Nick Chubb out of Georgia to a gain of 2 just inside the Viking 25.
Safety Harrison Smith was down at linebacker depth, and it looked like he was going to blitz off that weak side. So that's why Mayfield switched it and went to the strong side where he had the 3 tight ends in a bunch formation.
Last week, the Browns beat Chicago 26-6. They've won 2 in a row. After they lost in loud Arrowhead in Kansas City when they led in that game late. Here they're in another loud venue. 3rd and 3, 10th play of the Cleveland drive. Whoop.
False start. Offense. Number 71. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Jedrick Wills, first Cleveland penalty this afternoon. He's playing with the bad left ankle that he sustained against those aforementioned Chiefs week 1. Mayfield didn't like it. So now it is 3rd and 8 with the penalty.
Well, percentages changed drastically.
Yep.
3rd and 3 to 3rd and 8, and they had to change personnel groups. They had 2 tight ends, 2 wideouts. Now they've got 3 wideouts in.
3rd and 8. Screen, Hunt. Block Bitonio from behind, brought down by Hunter. He's got it. I think he did too. On 3rd and 8. It's a Kareem Hunt catch and a screen play for 9. And the drive continues for Cleveland.
Excellent pickup. Hunt starts off to the strong side, and then he drifts behind the line of scrimmage, gets out, leaks out to the left, and it's Bitonio once again, this time leading the screen. Last time it was a counter play.
Chubb is in, couple tight ends, 11th play of the drive. Mayfield, Chubb, cutter the block. Oh, and he bursts into the secondary and corkscrews to the 11. Brought down by Hunter, close to a first down. What a run by Nick Chubb.
Back to a 3 tight end formation. They like to lean on the counter where you're pulling guards. Bitonio, left guard, pulls to the right to lead the counter once again. Chubb breaking through a couple arm tackles.
7.5 minute drive. Second down and 1.
Hey, 5-4.
Chubb inside, slipping through, hit by Hunter, lunges to the 5 and a gain of 6. First and goal to go, Cleveland. And the 2-minute warning is here. The Browns are threatening again. Down after a touchdown pass by Kirk Cousins on CBS. Trent, the Browns are one of the few teams that run the ball more than they throw. That's what they've done today, run it, and they've got it all the way at the 5 with a first and goal.
And that's what they lean heavily on. We talked about it coming into the game. They like 2 and 3 tight end formations. They like using both backs. Now they've got Felton, so they've got another back that they like to get in as a weapon. This time, looks like 3 wide receivers down here at the goal line.
13th play of the drive. Fake to Chubb. And Mayfield throws it away. Teller was supplying a block, and Donovan Peoples-Jones was on the side, covered by Dantzler.
Patrick Peterson with unbelievable coverage against Odell Beckham. That is where Baker Mayfield wanted to go with the ball.
They keep first down.
Penalty on the Browns.
Holding is the call. They'll move it back. Cleveland 2 timeouts. Vikings have 3. They've been down here before, and Minnesota's defense held.
Well, they tried getting a play fake that time and getting backside to Odell Beckham on the slant, and Peterson with excellent coverage. But now all of a sudden, it's a different situation, stretched out to the 15-yard line.
Vikings have 5 in the secondary, first and goal. Chubb, bottom of your screen. Mayfield slings one down, and it's caught at the 2 by Rashard Higgins. Another catch here in the first half. He threads one in there for 13 yards. Tackled on the play by Dantzler.
This excellent throw by Mayfield, being able to squeeze this ball in there. Harrison Smith is the safety in the middle of the field, and he's able to get that ball on Higgins before Smith can go in.
We'll be back as a timeout's been taken in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance.
Well, someone's not doing their job.
Okay, let's keep going. Shopping for the game can be a minefield for young homeowners who have turned into their parents.
Can you believe how many different types of water they have in this aisle? Kim, did you just change blades back there? This is perfect. Jackpot, variety pack.
Remember, it's a football game, not a play day.
Roger that. One more slice.
It can be a lot.
Oh, good, the manager. Brian and produce, very helpful.
Progressive can't save you from becoming your parents, but we can save you money when you bundle home and auto with us.
Pulls to the left a little bit. Nope.
After the Minnesota Viking timeout, each team now with 2. Second and goal at the 3. Chubb is in. Mayfield. And for Odell Beckham Jr. Dantzler was there. Coverage also by Xavier Woods.
They're going to try a double move. Look, he goes in on a slant, then it looks like an escape, and then he peels it or wheels it up to the corner. Actually had him by a step. Mayfield extending it a little too far. That takes a long time. If you're going to do a slant, escape, and then a wheel,
it's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
He had 5 catches last week when he came back after tearing his ACL in October of 2020. 5 receptions. Third and goal at the 3. Chubb, waylaid, got away. Look at him squirm and turn and got back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe got a yard. Warnham was there. And others plowing inside. Dalvin Tomlinson, the former Giant.
I think it's Pierce. Pierce is the one that gets back there first.
And he's injured with an elbow and a shoulder sustained in practice on Thursday.
Watch the penetration he gets up the field. He's got a double team. He sets that, gets through. He gets up by the ankle. That slows him down. And by slowing him down, that allows the other defenders to rally and make the tackle short of the goal line. If he doesn't get that, I think Chubb scores because he's ahead of the defense.
Another timeout taken. Rise and halftime report coming up with JB and company from New York. Scores, news, highlights of this week 4 right here on CBS, the Verizon halftime report. Here we go again, 4th down. The last time Griffin came up with a big sack, and Cleveland got nothing. Mayfield. Tomlinson chasing to the end zone, and it is incomplete. They've done it again.
Flag in the end zone
has been thrown. There's so much congestion in that end zone.
Holding defense number 54. The ball be placed half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
That's on Kendricks.
Well, this is going to put the ball at the 1 yard line, so you'd anticipate with the way the Browns run the football that this is going to be. Kendricks up here, watch as he goes to spin out. You saw the extended jersey. Not much of a hold, though.
Hunt is in, tight end, Janovich in motion. First and goal. Mayfield. Blocked by Hunt to the end zone, high and uncatchable. Peterson was defending Austin Hooper. Second down and goal.
Well, I think they're just trying to trick him on that, because I can't imagine they're not going to try and run the ball from the 1 yard line. Either a quarterback sneak or get a quick hitter.
The only guy that could have caught that for Cleveland was Ilgauskas. Second and goal with Hunt. 3 tight ends. Kareem Hunt. Bitonio a block. He tries to plow. Kendricks was there. Vigil was there. No gain on the play. Third and goal for Cleveland. Stiffening the Minnesota defense.
Hit just before you see Bitonio pulls out into space, but it's Kendricks that comes in. Kendricks jumps on his back. And that allows Vigil to go in and get low and knock out the legs. Watch, Kendricks gets up high, and then Vigil gets low to get to the legs.
When you were down this deep, quarterbacking in Rams or Washington or Kansas City, your plays shrink a little bit too, don't they?
Yes. So obviously with the end zone, it only goes so far, right? So the defense only has to back up so much. So it limits it from a pass standpoint, but this is just, this is just a player-on-player, physical in the trenches. I would think they're going to run the ball again. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't run a quarterback sneak.
18th play of the drive. Janovich, the fullback. Kareem Hunt, Janovich the block, and he torpedoes in for the touchdown.
Well, when you have backs like that, that's why you don't quarterback sneak.
Right. And Cleveland an extra point away from tying it up.
This is just going to be a spin out. You got the lead block. Physical up front. You go with Bitonio and Wills. Kendricks tries jumping through and getting him in the backfield again, but it was too late. As Hunt picks up his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Cleveland native, he's from Willoughby, Ohio. Hunt takes it in. And a flag thrown as McLaughlin was trying to...
I recognize the...
Tony Carini, who officiated Super Bowl 41, is here with us in the Twin Cities today. Touchdown pass to Jefferson on the opening drive of the game by Cousins, and a 1-yard touchdown dive by Hunt. And an extra point coming up from McLaughlin, a former Vikings practice squad kicker, now with the Browns. Cousins has been watching.
Well, and with 1:16 to go in the half, the Vikings now out of timeouts. So Kirk Cousins going to have to, if he's trying to get down in the scoring range, he's going to have to do it with any timeouts in his pocket.
Browns run the ball 54% of the time, the 2nd highest rate in the NFL.
Because the Minnesota player inadvertently called a 4th timeout, delay a game. Defense. This penalty is going to be assessed from the 2-yard line to the 1, and Cleveland will attempt a 2-point conversion.
Wow.
So you say, how does that happen when you're back trying the extra point from a kicking standpoint, and then you get that option? You get the option to, if you're going to take the penalty right in the middle of your screen.
That's Sheldon Richardson, a former #1 pick by the Jets and a former Brown, who called the timeout. Now you're a yard closer.
So Kevin Stefanski was presented the option. You can take the penalty back there or back there, and here you're going to go for it, get a 2-point conversion, take the lead.
3 tight ends, hunting the backfield. Janovich in motion. They got the 2, and they take the lead. Janovich from Baker Mayfield. 8-7. The Browns have taken the lead with 1:16 to go. The penalty on the Vikings, and Janovich catches this one. Play, 8-minute and 39-second drive, orchestrated by quarterback Baker Mayfield. He got the 1-yard touchdown dive by Hunt, the 2-point pass conversion to Janovich, and it's an 8-7 lead for the Guardians over the Browns over the Vikings. Just before halftime.
I knew you wanted to get that in.
I think today's the end of the regular season in Major League Baseball. Abdullah is back. He'll bring it out. The former Lion slithers his way to the 25. And brought down in the play by Grant Delpit. 26-yard return. Let's go back to the penalty one more time. Minnesota.
First it's going to be Watts that's leaving the field late. And then it's going to be Sheldon Richardson that calls the timeout. And Minnesota had already used all 3 timeouts. So when the penalty was called, that gave Kevin Stefanski the option. Do you want to take it from where the kick was going to happen, or can you go back up to where the 2-point conversion would take place? He obviously went to the 2-point conversion, got it moved to the 1-yard line, and converted to take the lead.
No timeouts for Minnesota. Abdullah in the backfield. 1:12 to go in the first half. Kirk Cousins blocked by Hill. High and uncatchable for K.J. Osborne. With the coverage on the play by Troy Hill, the former Ram.
Well,
2nd and 10.
And things turned quickly for Kirk Cousins in this Vikings offense. Started off the game 6 of 6. If you remember, that drive moved right down the field, got the touchdown. But since then, Kirk Cousins is only 1 of 7, and this offense has stalled.
Today for Cousins, his 51st career Viking start. Second down and 10. Abdullah out of the backfield. And with a beat on him across the way, A.J. Green. Out of bounds he goes. Caught and ran for 2. And so they'll put him at the 27 with the clock at 1:04.
Well, and that may have been a poor decision, running out of bounds. I know you don't have any timeouts, but if you don't get this here on 3rd down, you're going to give the ball back to the Browns with 2 timeouts in their pocket.
Well said. Third and 8. That was Malik Jackson who was jumping along with Myles Garrett.
False start. Offense number 72. 5-yard penalty will remain 3rd down.
Left guard Ezra.
There was no 10-second runoff as the clock was stopped when the foul occurred.
Well, coming into this game, we talked about the Browns and what they did a week ago, 9 sacks against the Bears. They don't have any sacks today, but they've been able to flush through this offensive line. And as I said, Kirk Cousins has gotten to a cold stretch in terms of his completion.
3rd and 13. And Cousins outside. There's Osborne. Yeah, they're holding on for dear life with a nice tackle by M.J. Stewart, who allows just a yard. Cleveland has taken a timeout and will be back in 30 seconds after this.
My work has been viewed by 100 million people. My work helps save lives. My work has gone platinum. My work gives people hope. I work at FedEx.
Take your career to the next level with one of our many open positions.
The Trent, you were right moments ago about getting out of bounds. The way they did that was a mistake.
Well, and it hurt them even more. You know, once they got out of bounds, then didn't get it on third down. Browns had to use one of their timeouts, but with that penalty, it made it a difficult third down conversion, and now the Browns are going to have some time.
Jordan Berry to punt. Demetric Felton is back. Rookie from UCLA from the 28, hang a 4-2. He'll dance. And then the Avalanche. Ryan Conley and others over there with the stop. 8-yard return, 47-yard punt. At the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, some cancer screenings declined by 90%. Now, doctors are diagnosing later stage cancers. Don't wait. Talk to your doctor about getting screened. It takes all of us to intercept cancer. Visit NFL.com/crucial catch to learn more. Browns have it. One timeout, 45 seconds to go. And their kicker, McLaughlin, did kick a 57-yarder last week. One of his 4 against the Bears.
I think if you're Baker Mayfield, Kevin, you can use the whole field. You do have that timeout.
Blocked by Conklin, they go out of bounds. Just a couple seconds off the clock. Incomplete, 2nd and 10.
Well, the official from the back is the Vikings are looking for an intentional grounding because he was in the pocket. Yes, the ball went past the line of scrimmage, but there was no receiver in the area. There was a deep receiver running down the field to that side. It's just whether or not as the flag is dropped.
Intentional grounding, offense. The ball be placed. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, loss of down, 2nd down.
So he's in the pocket. He stays within the tackles. He's under pressure. Yes, there's a receiver running down the sideline way down here, but the ball goes out over here.
Out.
They're using their last timeout.
Now each team is out of timeouts.
And not take the 10-second runoff.
So they've got some intentions here, clearly.
Well, I think what you have to do now is you have to get to your screen. They're such a good screen team. You've got to just try and get a big chunk here. And then you can rush everybody up and spike it if it's a positive game.
Trent, you surprised by anything we've seen so far in the first half here?
It's kind of what we talked about coming into this. You knew Cleveland was going to want to try and run the football, and the Vikings got off to a hot start in that opening drive, but both defenses settled down and have had a good half.
Hunt is in, 2nd and 20. Wills the block, came over. That ball batted down, but it was wobbly, and I couldn't tell. 3rd and 20. May have been tipped by Griffin or Hunt.
I'm thinking it could be an intentional grounding. There's nobody there that I don't. But if they say the ball got tipped,
I think I just wobbled so much I couldn't. Oh, sure. Did Hunter get it? I don't know.
I don't know if Hunter got it with his arm or not, but either there was no one there. But quick decision not to call it grounding on that one.
So no timeouts either way. Mayfield has missed 4 in a row through the air. They need their own 46. It's Hunt. Cutter the block. The weaving Hunt. He's got the first down, and he rumbles down the sideline and stops the clock into Viking territory. A gallop of 33. 27 seconds to go on 3rd and 20. The draw for 33 to Kareem Hunt. Wow.
Well, and I know Mike Zimmer is just going to be furious over this. It's basically it's just trying to run out the clock. They're going to, you know what, let's do a draw, see if we can't make something happen, and next thing you know, he breaks off a 30-yard run and gets him into field goal range. You said that McLaughlin's already kicked one over 50 a week ago. He's 6 of 7 on 50-yard field goals in his career, so he has the leg to make something like this.
First and 10, no timeouts either way. Mayfield to the side. Nice looking catch on the near side by Higgins. Shoved out of bounds by Patrick Peterson. 11-yard pickup and a first down to the 30.
Well, Peterson's going to say he doesn't finish this catch, that the ball comes out at the end. The officials didn't see it. Let's see if the play continues long enough. Watch the tape, see if the ball comes loose. Yeah, the ball's on the ground. This is under 2 minutes, so it'd have to be reviewed by the booth. But Peterson was quickly pointing out to the officials that the ball came loose. He didn't finish the catch to the ground, but it's not being stopped.
First and 10 with Hunt. Conklin the block. Time for Mayfield. Deep to the end zone and Odell. And right through the hands, it appeared to Peterson. Odell Beckham Jr. was back there, and that's who Mayfield. And they're building better chemistry, they feel, the two of them, with an incompletion. 2nd and 10.
Well, it is going to take some time, and there is fighting going back and forth. They're just trying to do a high-angle corner route. You go to the inside like you do in a post. Obviously, Beckham's looking for a shove off at the end. Mayfield's looking for a shove at the end.
A couple Bayou Bengals going head-to-head. The reason why Beckham chose LSU is because he admired Peterson so much when he played at LSU.
There's a lot of Tigers on this field for both teams.
2nd and 10. No timeouts. Mayfield wills the block. And out of the reach of his receiving target, Rashard Higgins. Well covered on the play. 10 seconds left. Coverage there by Mackenzie Alexander.
Well, I think now you just need to try and... I'm okay with taking shots. Those two downs taking shots, but get a guy up the field and then get a little 5-yard out. Something where you can get out of bounds, pick up a few extra yards.
It'd be about a 48-yard field goal from here. 10 seconds left.
You can't take a sack. You can't get knocked down in bounds. There's no timeouts. It has to be incomplete or out of bounds or in the end zone.
Hunt blocking, Wills blocking, and through the hands of Hooper. Peterson was in the vicinity. It's incomplete. It's 4th down. They'll try for 3 for Chase McLaughlin. Like we said, a former Viking practice squad kicker, 4 field goals against the Bears. He has been perfect this year, 5 of 5. Waived by the Jets, reeled in by the Browns, 3rd-year kicker out of Illinois to extend the Cleveland lead. And inside from 48, he drills it. And the Cleveland Browns lead it 11-7 and 2 seconds to play in the half.
Well, it all comes down to that big conversion that Kareem Hunt had on the draw play.
33-yard run, you're right.
Not only was it able to get a big chunk and get it across midfield, but then he was able to get out of bounds and stop the clock when they had no timeouts. Then you come down to the next completion that Peterson was complaining that the ball wasn't finished to the ground, and we could see on our replay that he didn't complete the catch all the way to the ground. But they didn't review it, so that gave him an extra 10 yards. And then a heck of a kick by McLaughlin to make it a 4-point spread.
Mayfield is 11 of 22 for 98 yards. They've gotten a touchdown run of a yard by Hunt, then a 2-point conversion and a pass to Janovich. Just the 48-yard field goal right there to get the 11 points, and the game began on a long drive. It saw Kirk Cousins hit Jefferson on a 12-yard touchdown pass to get things going with the kickoff here to Abdullah. Out of the end zone, touchback to the 25. Vikings will get it. Beating Seattle last week, 30-17, first win of the season. A lot of people feel that they could easily be a 3-0 team and not a 1-2 team.
Yeah,
Minnesota.
And if you look at the way that they lost those games, the Arizona game, they missed an extra point and they missed a chip shot field goal at the end to lose by 1, and then that opener at Cincinnati losing in overtime. Yeah, they made a big field goal at the end to get it to overtime, but they had their opportunities in overtime, and late turnover gave the victory to Cincinnati.
The Cleveland Browns with 11 unanswered points over the final 1 minute and 16 seconds of this first half, with a 4-point lead. Now these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local CBS station. Vikings a touchdown pass, Cleveland a touchdown run, Browns on top by 4. Cleveland has won 2 in a row. Interesting, last week they had 9 sacks against Chicago, no sacks so far against the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, the thing that jumps out to me is the Cleveland defense. You know, you mentioned the 9 sacks, the fact they don't have any today, but the fact that the Vikings came into this game as one of the best offenses in football. Kirk Cousins, one of the hottest quarterbacks in football. They're top 10 in points, top 10 in yards, rushing, passing, everything. They have 119 yards. The opening drive of the game, 75 yards. Since that opening drive, they've only got 44 yards. So give credit to the Cleveland defense, the adjustments they made after that opening touchdown drive by the Vikings.
Joseph has it teed up for Minnesota. We're going to start the second half with Cleveland getting it first. And out of the end zone, over the head to Ernest Johnson. Downstairs to Melanie.
Yeah, well, guys, I just spoke with Mike Zimmer. I asked him what changed offensively after Kirk Cousins opened up that first drive going 6 for 6, and he said they've just started to slow down our run game. They got a lot of pressure on Kirk Cousins after that, and he just said we've just been in too many long yardage situations. Defensively, he feels they're doing a pretty good job stopping Cleveland's run game, but he said look for us to change up our defensive fronts in the second half.
Well, thank you very much. Adjustments by both teams. Couple tight ends here for Mayfield with Chubb in the backfield, 1st and 10. It's Chubb burrowing his way, and then stopped in there by Armon Watts with a gain of 3, put him at the 28.
Well, Melanie, with a great point from Coach Zimmer, talking about the fact that the Vikings haven't been able to run the football, only 35 yards rushing in the first half. Dalvin Cook, 6 carries, just 17 yards. On the other side of the field, the Browns just went over 100 yards for the game rushing. That is what they want to do. They want to run the football, work the play-action pass, get some counters, get some screens involved, and then take a big shot when they get a chance.
Dantzler continues to take the place of Bashad Breeland at the corner. Did it most of the first half. Breeland began the game. 2nd down and 7. It's Chubb with a catch. He's out to the 33 and tackled on the play by the All-Pro in 2019, Eric Kendricks. It's a gain of 5 up to the 33.
We've called Kendricks names many times today. He's 2nd in the NFL in tackles coming into today's game. He had 15 week 1, 11. The guy is a tackling machine, and he's had to continue to be that today.
Kareem Hunt is in. It's 3rd and 2. Felton in motion. Chased by Hunter. He needs the 35, and Hunter jumps on his back and rides down Mayfield. Shy of the 4th, they lose a yard. The punting unit comes out there for the Browns.
This is a great play that you'll see Felton comes in motion. There's going to be a quick flick. There's going to be a quick fake to him. We'll see him come in the picture here in a second. Coming from the left. So a quick fake to him. Quick toss to Hunt. Look out to the flat. Look out here. Out to the sideline. Felton's left alone on the sideline. All he needed was 3 yards to get the first down. That's an important miss from Baker Mayfield.
D.D. Westbrook. They'll get the punt. Jamie Gillen. So Kirk Cousins comes back out there. Hunter's had a nice game. 49-yard punt and a timeout. Well, coming in, we talked about Cook on the right and Garrett on the left, and Cook's got 17 rushing yards, and Garrett didn't have a sack yet after 4.5 last week.
Trying to get Cook into some kind of rhythm, and Garrett, as you said, 4.5 sacks. Not a sack on the day, but the Vikings have 119 yards of offense.
Outside they go. First time they've thrown to Jefferson since very early in the game. Makes the catch and brought down by Malcolm Smith. It is a gain of a yard. He's out to the 31. Dalvin Cook, who was inactive last week with an injury, playing and starting today.
Well, he gets a big run here. Gets an 11-yard gain. He's only got 16 yards. Now it's 17 yards, but most of it came on that one run. For the most part, the Browns have been able to keep him in check.
2nd down, 9. Oh, look out. Here comes Clowney, but he dumps it off with a nice block in there by Bradbury, a nice block by Hill, and weaving out there with little room to roam for 6 when it probably should have been a loss was Dalvin Cook.
That's
and he is hobbling off. That is not a good sign.
That's the hardest 6 yards he's gonna.
Right, I would agree.
That's and he is a little. I'm not sure what's going on.
It was a right ankle that was made him iffy today, and he's ticked off clearly if he's taken off the helmet. But the ankle we knew was not 100%. Alexander Madison has taken his place. He's atop your screen. Kirk Cousins with a 3rd down and 3. Crumbling pocket. Look out from behind and taken down by McKinley. McKinley comes through with the sack. His first sack this season. First Cleveland sack of the game. We were just talking about the lack of sacks. Big loss. Put him back to the 27. Here comes the punting unit.
Well, they're finally able to get some pressure, and it starts with the interior pressure. You see the pocket collapse in front of Cousins, so he had nowhere to step up to, so he had to flush to the outside. And McKinley taking full advantage of it.
Now Cook and his health is a major concern. Jordan Berry, he'll punt this ball back. Felton at the 11, hang a 4-9. But he'll work through all that traffic and spin his way near the 24 with a 10-yard return on a 58-yard punt. So now Cook is hobbled. Vikings trail. Here comes Mayfield. Beautiful family of Kevin Williams, a defensive tackle, 11 seasons of Viking, a 5-time first-team All-Pro, inducted into the Vikings Ring of Honor at halftime. Boy, he was a good player.
Outstanding.
He got you a couple times, right?
Tried to avoid him.
Yeah. On the 23 after the Viking punt, it's 1st and 10. Mayfield. Integrity, the pocket gone. Flag thrown. Hunter was pushing, and there goes Mayfield sliding after a gain of 2. 27-yard line. He had no turnovers in the first half either way.
Holding, offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 1st down.
It's Wills. High pick out of Alabama, 2nd-year tackle.
You'll watch the inside rush. Wills is going to get his arm up around the neck as he comes in to the inside. It's easy to call once you see that arm around the neck. It's more of a wrestling move, Kevin.
Yes. Dantzler still playing that corner for Breland, 1st and 20. It's Chubb. Nice blocking ahead, pushing Botonio out of bounds. Shoved right there by the multiple Pro Bowler Harrison Smith. Mel, what's the status of Dalvin Cook?
Yeah, Kevin, he was in pain down here coming off the field. He gingerly made his way over to the bench, and so far he was just kind of sitting there trying to stretch and move around that right ankle. Nothing definitive for now. He's back up on his feet over on the sideline, and looks to be all right for now. It'll be interesting to see if he goes back in this game.
Well, it was Tender coming in, missing last week. 2nd down and 8 for the Browns.
Well, we asked Mike Zimmer how much they're going to use him. He said, listen, we've still got to rotate. You know, we still got to get Madison in there and rotate and be careful because he's not 100%. So we got to watch what his reps are going to be the rest of the way.
2nd down 8, right on the screws across the middle, and Njoku will make the grab. Njoku picks up 9. Lynch is there with the stop. Put him at the 34. It is a 1st down.
Believe me, the more you can do as a quarterback, if your offensive lineman needs his shoes tied, you tie his shoes. The more you can do.
That is good. Doing it all, right?
Wyatt Teller, he's like, oh, I got gloves on. I'm having a hard time. I'm all taped up. And Baker's like, you know what? I got you, big guy. I got you.
Chubb on 1st and 10. Ceiling block there, Botonio, and there he goes, running up. Tackled in the secondary by Hunter. Moving a pile, takes it to the 47. 13-yard pickup, and a 1st down for Cleveland.
Well, you knew coming into this game the Vikings have struggled stopping the run. They're 20th, giving up 119 yards a game. And, of course, as we've mentioned many times, the Browns coming in as the number 2 rushing attack. And they were just going to continue to feed Chubb and feed Hunt and try and get that running game going. And they've continued to do that the entire day.
Two-time Pro Bowler. Hunt is in, 1st and 10. Looking for a block, and he got there from Njoku, and then he was tripped up on the play by Dantzler. In this game, we have 4 running backs averaging at least 5 yards a carry coming in. There are only 20 running backs in the entire NFL that do it. 4 are in this building coming into today.
That's pretty impressive. That's why the defenses, both defenses we talked to, said you got to stop the run game. You got to focus on Dalvin Cook. You got to focus on Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. And this is what it's been about today.
They combined last week against Chicago. Chubb and Hunt for 165 yards on the ground. 2nd down 8. Hunt is in, and the call. Teller will try to lead. Nice tackle over there once again made by Blake Lynch. A gain of a yard to New York. James and Nate.
Kevin, Dak's weapons continued.
That's right, Dak Prescott. Who is he looking for? Amari Cooper with a subtle out and up. He gets on top of the DB, catches the touchdown, 35 yards for the score. Dallas leads 20-14.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
Multiple 1,000-yard receptions.
I'm surprised Nate didn't say hanging with Mr. Cooper as he went for the touchdown. Nate, you can steal that. You can steal it. You can have that one.
What a trade that was for Dallas a couple years ago. Amari Cooper. Here's a 3rd and 7. Messy pocket for Mayfield. Oh, he's got him, and it hits the back of Dantzler. They were going for Odell Beckham Jr. On 4th and 7. It's the incomplete pass. And Dantzler was right there. A starter. He had been complaining a little bit publicly about not seeing time. And Breland, who had been getting beat handily, taking his place.
We see the Vikings, they bring 5 defenders. I think Beckham loses this in the sun a little bit. He looks back, and I don't know if he necessarily sees it. The way that the sun comes through this roof, there's it's at an angle, and the angle would be the way that Beckham was looking back into the sun. He didn't see it until the last minute. Not that he could have stopped and came back and got the ball. I'm just not so sure he located it until late.
It's not a clear roof. It is translucent. Fair caught, D.D. Westbrook, 13-yard line. 4 on the hang, 36 on the punt, and a timeout on CBS. The great Ray Scott worked in the Twin Cities, lived here late in his life, now passed on the 14 after the punt. 1st and 10. Madison is in and not Cook. Blocked by Ham. Cousins, pocket crumbling, and he goes downfield. Oh, and it was knocked away beautifully. Thielen just about had a hand on it. Delpit was right over there. Thielen's been quiet. Just 1 catch, and it came on the opening drive.
Incredible play by Delpit, diving at the last second to knock the ball away from Thielen. The Browns decide to bring pressure, so they collapse the pocket around Cousins, and he's able to slide enough to get it to the outside. Just at the last second gets a fingertip on it.
The passer, defense, 15-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Well, this must have been really late because I didn't see it happen. I was following the ball up the field, and we'll see if we can't get a look at it. He looked like he had slid and escaped from the pocket. Watch as he gets over to the side throw. It's a long way.
The Browns last year didn't even have a roughing the passer penalty. So that's the first, in the last 21 games.
Well, the problem is going low. They're going to protect the quarterback's knees, so the timing of it being a little bit late and the fact that he got him down low.
Madison stays in. 1st and 10. Goes into Madison. Hit by Clowney. Got a couple sacks. Brings him down. Loss of 2. Back to the 27. That was the 1969, by the way, championship game. You just saw it with Ray Scott and Paul Chrisman on CBS. Cleveland has not been back here and played in Minneapolis since 2013. The city's had some incredible journalists. We've had 2. We've lost 2 in the last couple of years. Sid Hartman and Tom Hanneman, mainstays, pillars in this community, and that was a ball that was deflected and almost picked off on the ricochet with an incompletion. So it'll be 3rd and 12.
Well, Cousins trying to squeeze that one into Conklin as the ball gets tipped up in the air. Fortunate for the Vikings that it falls incomplete.
Good play by Troy Hill to deflect it. And that ball hung here inside in downtown Minneapolis. 3rd and 12. Blocked by Madison. And downfield. Oh, he's got him, Jefferson! Big time catch! Working on the secondary. Ward was back there and dealt it, and there is a flag. 37-yard completion. Let's see if they bring it back on a hold.
Holding. Offense number 83.
Oh.
10-yard penalty.
Tyler Conklin, the tight end, who's been quiet today himself.
'83 at the top of your screen here. They bring a delayed blitz. Yeah, you got to call that. He had him up around the neck. One-on-one against Myles Garrett. That's a tough task to ask Conklin to do, and got called for the hold. Correct call.
3rd and 22. They need the 39. Cousins 11 and 19. Madison. Nice trip up right there. Owusu. Koromoa put it on him. 2-yard gain allowed. That was it. And so the punting unit back out there for the Vikings. This kid is some kind of player. The rookie out of Notre Dame with another nice defensive play. Second consecutive 3-and-out for Minnesota.
Well, give Joe Woods credit. After that opening drive, his defense, the Browns have held the Vikings in check. It's been an impressive performance.
Berry to punt. Deep back, the rookie from UCLA. Out of bounds it goes, kicking it about the 35. Boy, this is a nice open field tackle. Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa with a big-time play for the Cleveland D. Minneapolis Sculpture Garden is an 11-acre park which is home to over 40 iconic sculptures. This city, these cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful day outside. With all the windows, here it comes inside for the capacity crowd. After the second consecutive 3-and-out by Minnesota. 1st and 10, Chubb. Rumbling around, takes it past the 40, brought down on the play by Richardson, picks up 5. Termel on the field.
Guys, a couple of Vikings injuries to update you on. Nose tackle Michael Pierce, who was injured coming into this game, is now doubtful to return with that same elbow injury he suffered Thursday at practice. Then cornerback Bashad Breeland, questionable with an illness, the same one he was on the injury report with all week. A couple of guys who tried to play through it being held out for now.
And the thing is, Trent, thank you, Mel, that Pierce is a run stopper. And that would be vital against this group that now, between Hunt and Chubb, have gone for a combined 125 on the ground for the Browns.
Yeah, that was big coming in here, knowing that they're going to have to stop the run. But Jedrick Wills, as you can see, going off the field, the left tackle. So
Jedrick Wills had the left ankle coming in. He's been playing hurt with that ankle since the season opener at Kansas City. James Hudson will take his place, a rookie 4th-round pick out of Cincinnati. But he's happy today. 2nd down and 4. Chubb, nice blocking, hard running to midfield. Took a bunch to bring him down. Got the first, picks up 8 to the 49-yard line, and in there among the tacklers was Woods.
The way that they've been able to push the pile, 1st down, right? They ran to the left, they just pushed the pile, got 5 yards. That time there, they got, you know, another 8.5, 9 yards on the carry. So just sticking with that run game. We knew that coming in here, and the Vikings knew it coming in. They said we need to focus on stopping the run. They just haven't been able to do it today. The Browns 143 yards rushing already.
Vikings have gotten to Mayfield twice on sacks today. 5 times sacked against Chicago last week. Chubb on 1st and 10 trying to cut. You saw the pellets. Those rubber pellets fly up and so there. Gain of a yard. This offensive line for Cleveland, including Wills, 2 top 10 draft picks. Conklin is there, of course, at the offensive tackle. Conklin came over from Tennessee, and he's been all-pro. As a rookie, he was all-pro.
It has been a good offensive line, and yes, Mayfield's taken some sacks this year, sacked 9 times coming into today, and as you said, a couple more today. Some of that is just the type of offense they run and the type of athlete that Mayfield is, trying to extend plays or get out in space where some of those numbers are escalated a little bit.
2nd and 9, Chubb. Nice block, Conklin. Grabbed from behind by Richardson, who tears him down. Nice play by Richardson, limiting Chubb to a gain of 2. These running backs do complement each other, don't they, Hunt and Chubb? I mean, they do different things. Here now comes Hunt, but what a wonderful 1-2 complementary punch they are.
Well, and talking to Alex Van Pelt, the offensive coordinator, and Kevin Stefanski, who's the play caller, they like to utilize them in different ways. There's certain plays that the other one is good at, and there's certain plays where both are good at, and they try and mix it up and keep them both fresh.
3rd and 7. Mayfield escaping. Stiff arms by Kendricks. Oh, and he little high stepping across the way in front of his own bench, but shy of the first down by a yard to the 42.
Well, and they may go for it now.
Gain of 6.
You get it that close, and you know you're going to try a 60-yard field goal, or you're going to go for it on 4th down. And with a 4-point lead, they're going to go for it. The way their defense is playing, I can't believe Mayfield. I can't believe the stiff arm to Kendricks, and then the high knee.
Look at that. He was in bounds.
They could review that.
I think that's a first down. That's a first down.
Now you got to remember they lost the review earlier, so they've only got 1 left. So
that was a first down. They were still on the green. 4th and 1. Here comes a flag.
Oh, they're going to get. Now they got a punt.
It's on Cleveland.
False start. Offense, number 66. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
5th penalty. That's on Hudson, who's taking the place of the injured Wills. Over the last couple games, Blake Hans has come in and relieved Wills. Today, it's Hudson.
That little flinch. Some of that's just not playing, right? He just came in the game, what, about 5 plays ago?
Yes.
So getting due to the rhythm, dealing with the crowd noise, getting to the rhythm of the cadence of Baker Mayfield, and so instead of going for it, they're going to have to punt it away.
Danny Gillen will punt. He only had 5 punts coming into this game. This is his 4th today. Fair caught Westbrook at the 8. 43-yarder. Cleveland Browns. A win today. They tie Cincinnati for first place in the North. Timeout. U.S. Bank Stadium. That's downtown Minneapolis in the background. Super Bowl's been held here. What a great building. 1st and 10 after the Cleveland punt. Good pickup of the Taki drive, and a pass goes to Jefferson, who catches near the 29-yard line, and he was working on Greedy Williams, who today is starting for the injured Greg Newsome. A 20-yard pickup and a first down for Minnesota.
Excellent catch by Jefferson. As you see, he's a little winded. I don't know if he landed on the ball. Cousins was under pressure. That blitz by Taki, and looks like he maybe got the wind knocked out of him.
Alexander Madison begins this drive as the back. Not Cook, who left hobbled. Madison right here on 1st and 10. Round around the waist, limited to a 1-yard gain on the play. Took the 30. Here's a look at Jefferson.
Well, the good thing the Vikings with Madison, they know they've got a replacement that can handle it.
Right.
You know, a week ago he had 171 yards, over 100 yards of that was rushing, and put together an incredible game in the win last week against Seattle.
3rd round pick out of Boise State, understudy to Dalvin Cook. 2nd down, 9. Build the block at the left tackle, but here comes a crumbling pocket, and down he goes. Sacked on the play. Garrett got him. Was right in there along with Malik Jackson. 2nd sack by the Cleveland defense. This goes back to the 25. Losing 4. And the 3rd quarter has come to a close. A close game in the Twin Cities. Browns by 4 on CBS. We are starting the 4th quarter. Vikings will have it. 3rd down, 13. They have missed their last 5 third downs. Biggest play on this drive has been a 20-yard pass to Jefferson. 6 defensive backs. Cousins. And throws, and a nice catch made. D.D. Westbrook. Delpit was on him. Put him up to the 43. A 17-yard connection on 3rd and 13. And a Viking first down. First catch today.
Excellent job by Westbrook finding the middle of the field, sitting in between the linebackers with a deep zone coverage. He just kind of basically went up, got behind the linebackers, and slid to where he was going to be an opening, and Kirk Cousins had time to find him and pick up the first down.
Conklin on the move. Addison in the backfield. Conklin the tight end. Spinning catch. First down, catch and run. Batted out of bounds by Williams. Put him at the 44 of the Browns. A catch and run of 13.
Well, and sometimes all you need is like a 3rd down conversion or some kind of play to get things going. They look at it to be in a little bit more of a rhythm than what they have now for the last 2.5 quarters.
Secondary with 5, 1st and 10. Madison, Ham a block. And then grabbed by Lee, and he rides him down to the 37-yard line. That's a burst of 6.
This is the first life we've seen in this Vikings offense in quite some time.
Playing this season without their regular tight end, Irv Smith. Rudolph is gone. Smith is on IR. September 1st he went there. 2nd down, 4. A lot of movement. Here comes Garrett. Bobbitt. We're just talking about the tight end. Conklin will drop that one. 7 catches, a career day with 70 yards and a touchdown last week. With Smith out, Conklin has become the guy. 2nd and 10.
You see him turn his head back. You could see his helmet turn back to the left to try and locate the defender that was trailing him, and he just took his eyes off the ball.
Owusu Koromoa, I think, was the defender. The 3 defense of Cleveland coming in 3rd and 4. Going down the side, looking for Osborne with a shove and a flag thrown on Troy Hill. On the long pass for K.J. Osborne.
They're going to get offensive pass interference on Osborne with the push off with his right arm.
Pass interference, offense, number 17. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, 3rd down.
It's a pretty easy call for the official. You see the hand fighting going on. It's that final push, though, that gives him separation. See, they're back and forth. They wouldn't have called it, but then that final push that knocked Hill away from him and gave him separation is what drew the penalty.
3rd downs last week for the Viking offense against Seattle, 9 of 14. And this afternoon, 3rd down, 3 of 9. And Kirk Cousins, who has gone 14 of 23, began the game with a 12-yard touchdown pass. With the 30-14, they need the 34. Out of traffic, Conklin is there. Good tackle made by Greedy Williams, and a loss of 3. And the defense again does their job for the Browns, and the punting unit out there for Minnesota.
You see the pressure applied, and Cousins tries to escape. There's only a 4-man rush. So it's the twist up front that causes him to flush outside. Malik Jackson is on a twist. He comes around free, so that causes him to flush to the left, and he has to dump it off, and ends up being a loss, creating this punt.
Boy, they were moving too. Jefferson had caught one for 20. Westbrook for 17. With the punt now coming from Jordan Berry. And caught at the 15, and no one was on him. Demetric Felton. But he still did not gain any yards. A 35-yard punt. Mayfield up by 4 on CBS. Pleasant football provide expert insight and exclusive commentary you won't find anywhere else. Stream new episodes Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern on Paramount+. After the punt, 1st and 10. Still Hudson playing that left tackle. Wills will not return. We'll update that in a second. Hunt ran upended on the play by Cameron Dantzler, who makes the tackle after a gain of 2 at the 18-yard line of Cleveland. So Wills is out. Left ankle coming in was questionable, but he started and played. And instead of using Hance the way they have the last couple weeks, relieving Wills, they go right to rookie James Hudson. 2nd down and 8. By the way, Beckham also went to the locker room. He is back out there, and wide bottom of your screen. He's got no catches today. 2nd down and 8. And over the head. Incomplete. As they were going for Harrison Bryant. 3rd down.
Well, Mayfield's upset at himself about this throw. He has an easy completion and just sailed it. Good play action fake, set up in the pocket, had plenty of time, had his tight end on a corner route. Getting this crowd into it now on a 3rd and long.
Let me correct something. He does have a catch. Beckham does. They got 8 different receivers that the quarterback, Baker Mayfield, has thrown to, but only 1 catch for Beckham. 3rd and 8, blitzes on by Smith, and that's incomplete. 4th and 8. Hunt was over there. Harrison Smith forced the pass perhaps a little bit early, and the defense of Minnesota does their job. Hits the back of Antonio. This game began with 2 long drives that were so enjoyable to watch, and since that time, not much. A lot of punting. 2nd half. This will be the 4th 2nd half punt for Cleveland, and the Vikings have punted 3 times themselves. Jamie Gillen in the 2nd half. Westbrook, 27-yard line, and making his move. And out of bounds and hit by Green. 56-yard punt, 5-yard return. So Kirk Cousins and a flag has been thrown. Cousins today 15-24, 139 and a touchdown pass. His 100th as a Viking.
Well, he started off the day hot, the opening drive. No incompletions, going down the field and getting the touchdown pass to Jefferson. And since then, not much of anything. Nearly getting the ball intercepted there on a ball that got tipped in the air, which would have been his 1st interception of the season. But he came into this game one of the hottest quarterbacks in the NFL.
Holding, receiving team number 20. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
I had read this week in the Star Tribune or the Pioneer Press about the weekly meetings that now Zimmer and Cousins are having. They spent 45 minutes talking about football, watching tape, looking at the week ahead, and about things off the field too. Yeah, they said, talked to each of them about that, and they said how much they get out of that. Not only just from a game management standpoint, and you get feedback from your head coach as you know, how he wants you to manage the game and how you're playing and how you want to attack a defense. And they said they both really gain a lot out of that conversation. Couple tight ends, 1st and 10, Madison in the backfield, and Alexander Madison gets the call. And then finally hit by Owusu Koromoa with a gain of 6, and he slides his way out to the 24. 2nd down and 4. The 1st-year coordinator is Clint Kubiak, 34 years of age. First-time play caller. 2nd down 4. Madison reversing field. By Taki, and then was brought down by Myles Garrett. They read it well. Now it is 3rd down and a loss of a couple on the play, and they'll push him back to the 22, loses 6. Well, and Clint Kubiak, as you said, at the first 3 games as an offensive play caller, as we take a look at him right there, you know, the numbers this offense had coming into the game, he's done an outstanding job of mixing things up. You see all those in the top 10. But right now, Cleveland's been dialed in as the Vikings are sitting at 172 yards of total offense. 3rd and 6. Cousins pressured. And Cousins throws an incomplete pass to Osborne, who is covered by Hill. Ball is incomplete. And it's 4th down, and once again, the Viking punting unit will take the field.
Excellent coverage. Both of these teams, really, there hasn't been a lot of just wide open receivers. For the most part, they've been contested throws. There have been pockets collapsing where quarterbacks have to try and squeeze the ball in there. But the Vikings' 3rd down woes continue on offense.
4th consecutive punt in this half. 3rd 3 and out this half. And Jordan Berry, the Australian, will boot it. And Felton out of bounds. Makes a couple tackles, and the 3rd guy will get him. And that was the reserve linebacker, Ryan Conley. The defense, the number 3 defense in pro football, the Browns with the play. On Tuesday to host a coat giveaway for low-income families. From the 30, second half, 8 punts, no points. 1st and 10. Look at the time. And there's the throw, and he's got his receiver, Beckham. Across the middle, Odell Beckham smears it. Down to the 46, a gain at 24. Good-looking throw by Mayfield. It's 1st and 10.
And that's where your play action comes into play. You run the play fake because you've run the ball so well that keeps the linebackers tight to the line of scrimmage, allows Beckham to get in between the zones of the deep secondary, and now the fitting up linebackers and able to make that connection, get across midfield.
His shoulder pop out in the game last week, and he put it back in himself. 1st and 10. Chubb. Good-looking block by Bryant. But then the convergence right there, and hit by a couple, including Blake Lynch. Only a gain of 2 for Nick Chubb to the 44.
Well, it looked like Chubb was going to be able to break that to the outside. Harrison Smith came down, and it was he that got up the field to kind of turn him back in, which allowed the rest of the Vikings defenders to make that tackle.
Baker Mayfield, 14 of 28. First time for Mayfield that he's had the same head coach and offensive coordinator in consecutive years. 2nd down and 8, Chubb. Smith grabs onto his ankles and holds on for dear life, and a 1st down run to the 35 Minnesota, and a burst of 9 for Nick Chubb.
If I had said halfway through the 4th quarter that Baker Mayfield and Kirk Cousins were both going to be right around 130 yards passing, I would have thought maybe that would be the case for Baker Mayfield, because that's what the Browns want to do. But what an excellent job the Browns defense has done keeping Kirk Cousins, that offense, in check after the opening drive. And now the Browns going to look down at the minimum. They want to try and get at least a field goal to get a touchdown advantage over the Vikings.
Hunt is in. He's combined for 150 with Chubb. But the run right here had a 30-yard run earlier in the game, which set up a field goal. 1-yard gain right there, and hit by the former Bengal Nick Vigil. They'll put him at the 34.
And of course, Kevin, you want to get a touchdown here because it makes it a 2-possession game if you're the Browns. But at the very least, you get that field goal, make it a 14-7 game. As I said, they've held the Vikings in check, but you're just one big play away from tying the thing up, or in this case, taking the lead if they're not able to get an extra 3 points here.
2nd down and 9. 4 in the secondary. Make it 5. Put a linebacker out there to play deep. The pocket crumbles. Tomlinson has grabbed a hold of the quarterback, Baker Mayfield. Down he goes. 3rd sack. Push him back to the 35. And a loss of about a yard for Cleveland's offense.
Good pressure by the Vikings getting up the field. Baker's trying to hang on to the ball because he wants to push it up the field. Instead of taking a short throw, which he's done a lot of today, is the short throws. He held onto the ball a little bit longer, which allowed the rush to get to him and set up this 3rd and long.
3rd down and 9. And Hunt remains. Good 3rd down conversion rate so far. The ball batted down inside. And it looked to be Sheldon Richardson. They're going to try for 3. Richardson with the swat, knocking down the Mayfield pass.
Gets that left arm up and is able to deflect the pass.
So McLaughlin has already made a field goal today from 48. Last week made 4. He's 6 of 6 on the season. This is a 53-yarder to extend the lead. And it is perfect. He puts it through. Another 3 on there for the Browns, leading by a touchdown. 6:16 to go. 53-yard field goal.
Well, Kevin, this defense has done such a good job against the Vikings, but this field goal allows them a little bit of breathing room. You obviously don't want to let them score, but now all of a sudden, if one big play or a missed tackle or something happens, you would have been trailing, but by getting the field goal, it gives you that touchdown advantage.
Both teams grinding against each other in this contest. Wednesday on CBS, CSI, the global phenomenon, opens a new chapter in the city where it all began. New mysteries, new team, new science. It's the next generation of crime scene investigators. CSI Vegas. Dig deeper to the truth. Wednesday at 10, 9 Central, right here on CBS.
And Kevin, to dig back into it, so now that 14 points, you have to remember going back to the first half where the Vikings called a 4th timeout. They gave the penalty when the Browns were going to kick the extra point. All of a sudden with that penalty, they decided to go for 2 at the 1-yard line, got the 2 points, and now the 2 additional field goals. That's how they got to 14, giving this 7-point lead.
That ball's in and out of the end zone over Abdullah. Touchback to the 25, and all eyes on Kirk Cousins. 15 of 25. 139. He's got a touchdown pass to Jefferson on the game-opening drive. The Browns secondary now playing down 2 starters. Newsome out coming into the game, and Harrison is gone. And the secondary trying to move on the fly with those 2 starters out. 1st and 10 for Cousins. Fake to Madison. Here comes Clowney. Going deep and looking for Thielen. It's picked off. Intercepted on the play by Greedy Williams. Starting today for one of those players down. First start since his rookie campaign. Greedy Williams picks off Kirk Cousins, who has just thrown his first interception in the last 226 pass attempts.
Greedy Williams is the corner on the left side of the field. Adam Thielen is on the right-hand side for Kirk Cousins. He comes off the play fake, trying to get Thielen down the other way. Greedy Williams recognizing what they're trying to do. He has no responsibility back there, but he knows with the hard play fake it's going to be deep. He comes flying into the picture. Excellent job getting his head around to locate the ball. That's tough for anybody to come up with the catch, but for a defensive back, that's not something they naturally do.
Greedy Williams started as a rookie, then last year in camp had a nerve issue in his shoulder. He did not play last year. He was vying for the starting role in camp, then had a groin injury, so Newsome, the rookie, beat him out. And today, starting for the first time since 2019, and comes up with a huge interception for the Cleveland defense. Hunt in the backfield, and Baker Mayfield with the 1st and 10. It's Hunt. Pulling is Hudson, leading the way, and look at the driving, bulldozing move of the running back, Kareem Hunt. A 1st down run, put him at the 34 with the run of 13.
Well, now this is where the Minnesota defense is going to have to step up. There's not a lot of time left as we're now under 6 minutes in the 4th quarter. They've got to get the Browns off the field, try and get the ball back, and hope their offense can get going with something. The Browns, on average, coming into this game, possessed the ball for more than 10 minutes of the 4th quarter.
Number 1 in the NFL,
yes,
right?
Yes, so this is right in their wheelhouse. They want to run the ball, keep the clock moving. So it's going to be the responsibility of the Vikings defense to get him off the field.
That's a great point. Mayfield 1st and 10. He's got him across the middle, and this time he goes to Higgins with another catch. He's had a good day. 19-yard pickup, and he'll go to the 47 of Minnesota with a 1st down.
And when everybody in the building thinks they're going to be running the ball, they continue to focus on that play-action pass. Gets the underneath defense to bite up. It creates a lane, and they catch it in front of the safeties. Pick up another 1st down, and a big 1st down because it crosses midfield.
4 catches, 63 yards. Rashard Higgins had 4 catches in the first 3 games combined. The pitch out. Hunt. The blocking. And sifting through with a nice play, Kendricks. No gain on the play. They corral Hunt. They stay at the 47.
So the thing you have to decide if you're Mike Zimmer is do I start blitzing more, getting more pressure because of where they're located? Do you just keep the 4-man rush? Do you mix it up with a 5- or 6-man rush? But then you take the possibility of your man-to-man coverages. How confident do you feel with your matchups?
2nd down and 10. Chubb is in.
Dantzler is down here one-on-one at the bottom of the screen with Odell Beckham Jr.
4 in the secondary. Here comes the rush, and they're going to go right where Trent thought to Beckham. Coverage on the play by Dantzler. Incomplete. Heavy pressure put on the wing by Everson Griffin on the quarterback, Baker Mayfield.
And Mayfield saw the safety in the middle of the field, so he came back. He kept his eyes in the middle to the left to try and not allow Woods to get over the top. He just puts the ball too wide, doesn't give Beckham a chance to make a play. And that's big because it stops the clock, Kevin.
The first career interception for Greedy Williams sets up this possession. 3rd and 10. Cleveland has missed their last 6 third downs. Blocking is there. Downfield, he overshoots the receiver, Anthony Schwartz, a speed merchant and a rookie out of Michigan. It's incomplete.
Well, what a huge stop for the Vikings defense after the big completion in the middle of the field to Higgins that got him across midfield. Kendricks gets the tackle on 1st down of Hunt of no gain. And then incompletion, so that stops the clock. 2 downs in a row, giving the Vikings plenty of time here.
This will be the 5th second-half punt for Jamie Gillard of Cleveland. Westbrook is back indoors, so nothing messing with the ball, and it's fair caught about the 12. Hang a 4-3, 35-yarder. 3:45 to go, down by 7 and 3 timeouts. Here comes Cousins. Stay tuned for the NFL Today update, time permitting. Join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Bill Coward, a Hall of Famer, for all the latest scores, news, and highlights in this Week 4 of the NFL. So now put me inside Cousins' helmet. He's at his 12. He's got all the timeouts, and he's within reach.
I understand the last time they tried taking a big shot up the field to Thielen. At that point in time of the game, now they need to get a drive going and get themselves down here. They don't have a ton of time, but they have all 3 timeouts in the 2-minute warning.
Here goes Dalvin Cook back in the game, and look at him weave for the 1st down into the secondary. Hit by Williams, 13-yard run. He'd been missing the last 4 or 5 series because he tweaked that ankle, but he's back in there with the big run there.
Well, and he's not 100%, but those 2 cuts right there, the first 2 cuts behind the line of scrimmage, he looks pretty healthy.
There's a hiccup. Here he goes again. Now he's wrapped up on that 1st and 10. Malik McDowell, the defensive tackle, limits him to a gain of 2 and put him Trent at the 27.
So there needs to be a sense of urgency here, a little more up-tempo in and out of the huddle. Like I said, they still have the 2-minute warning. They still have all 3 timeouts. But they need a touchdown. They can't just settle for a field goal because we're now under 3 minutes.
Cook 8 carries and 32 yards. 2nd down 8. Cook. Nice play once again. Owusu Koromoa limits him to a gain of 2. He's shot right through, and they knock him down about the 28. There's not the sense of urgency you might expect.
Yeah, I just got through saying that, and yet here they huddle up. If they don't pick up this 1st down, it depends on, three timeouts in the 2-minute warning. Is everywhere on the field open?
Cook is left. 3rd down and 6. O'Neal the block. They go downfield, and it's caught by Jefferson. Works on Denzel Ward. What a catch, but what a throw. To the 40 of the Browns, a strike of 31, and a 1st down for Minnesota.
Well as Denzel Ward has been playing all day, this ball is perfectly dropped over the outside shoulder of Justin Jefferson, and he brings it in. Big 1st down across midfield, now at the 40-yard line. As we said, 2-minute warning coming up here in 9 seconds, and you still have all 3 timeouts in your pocket.
Madison is the running back. It's 1st and 10. And Madison will plummet his way inside. Alexander Madison out of Boise State. Hit by a couple, including Troy Hill, with a gain of 2. The 2-minute warning is here. They'll be at the 38 when we come back. Down by 7. Defense on display in the Twin Cities on CBS. So down by 7. Kirk Cousins has taken over. He got Cook to run for 13. He just hit Jefferson for 31. We're at the 2-minute warning. 3 timeouts apiece. 2nd down and 8. Cleveland's 38. Cousins. And he's got Thielen, who's grabbed by Williams. Gain of 5. The quick slant, 33-yard line. How big is that 2-point conversion by the Browns going back a little bit here in this contest in the late first half?
Well, and it was the mistake. It was the mistake that the Vikings made to get the penalty, calling that extra timeout that, Stefanski decided, instead of getting the yardage for the extra point kick, let's move it down, move it to the 1-yard line and get the 2-point conversion, which they did.
3rd down 3 with Cook. Cousins sling. Oh, his hand was hit as he threw. I don't know if it was Clowney or if it was Garrett. Clowney is down, writhing in pain, but Garrett and Clowney were pinching the pocket, and Jadeveon is down. He came in with a neck injury after coming off a game last week against Chicago where he had 2 sacks, his first in the NFL since 2019.
He's 90 there at the bottom.
Looked like Garrett got a hand on it, right? Injury timeout inside 2 minutes. Cleveland's going to lose 1, so they're down to 2. Vikings have got all 3. Clowney's slow to get up, but a good sign. They've already lost their starting left tackle today, the Browns have.
He was kind of pointing to his left hip, talking to the trainers and doctors about. See how he's got that hand on his left hip. Where's he on the outside here? He'll get upfield, and you see the double team that ends up coming into play. It may be. Maybe 97 Malik Jackson that gets the hand on it to knock the ball away, but it was the. See at the end, he almost grabs that left hip. I don't know. It's not your normal injury at that point in time, so hopefully we'll be all right.
McKinley has come in. 4th and 3. They need the 30. Huge play for Minnesota. Cousins moving. Oh, they grab him and bring him down. He throws it incomplete as he was hitting the deck. Boy, did they get pressure on him by a couple, including Malik McDowell, who went inside Malik Jackson. And on downs, the Vikings give it back to the Cleveland Browns. What pressure up the middle by Cleveland.
Oh, incredible job by the Browns. And they only rushed 4. It wasn't like they decided to blitz. They rushed 4, so there was nowhere for Cousins to go with the football. He was looking out to his right, which is where he had the bunch formation. The interior part of the defense, McDowell and Jackson are the ones that collapse, and nowhere for Kirk Cousins to step up in the pocket.
Malik Jackson, where it was all let's meet at the quarterback, right? And they came through with another big play. They've had a lot of sacks today as well. That was an incompletion, but they've had a couple sacks. They pressured the pocket.
Well, Minnesota does still
have 3 timeouts.
Have all 3
3 timeouts.
So they can. This isn't a kneel down for the Browns.
Chubb in the backfield, 1st and 10, their own 33. With multiple tight ends, Chubb jumping on him on him. And a gain of 2 to the 35, and a timeout. Minnesota uses its first. Chubb at 97 yards, Hunt at 69. So again, Trent, the running of these two, and they had combined last week 165 against the Bears. And they're at that point once again where that number is over 150, which is huge.
Yeah, they've put together a heck of a day on the ground. That's their focus. You know, over 180 yards rushing, and when you look at it, and even look at all their other games, you don't look at like gaudy numbers that their offense puts up, but they're finding ways, you know, to get it done. Coming to it second in the NFL in rushing, and they found a formula that works for them.
166 today, 165 last week. Combined second and 8, tries to dive, not much there. Clogging it was Armon Watts. So a gain of 3 to the 38. It'll be 3rd and 5. Another timeout for Minnesota, and 1 remains. Coming up next here on CBS, Game 2 of our doubleheader. Most of you will head to Lambeau in Green Bay. A clash of 2 legendary franchises and quarterbacks. Ben Roethlisberger for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers for Green Bay. That's coming up next, right here on CBS. So 1 timeout for Minnesota, trailing by 7, and a 3rd and 5 with Hunt in for Cleveland.
So here's the risk you have to take if you're the Browns, right? You run the football, force the Vikings to use the timeout, or you throw it or attempt to throw it, and if you get the first down, the game's over.
First down ends.
I would, based on how they run the football, I would run it. Hope they run the ball well enough. You can run the ball and still pick up the first down, but if anything, you don't want to leave the Vikings with another timeout.
3rd and 5. Mayfield has time, going deep. He's got Beckham, and he throws in back of him.
He had him.
Oh, he had him indeed.
It was a walk-in touchdown.
4th and 5. Cleveland's punting unit. Vikings have life.
A wheel route on the outside. Harrison Smith with no help from the safety, because the safety ends up jumping the dig. So Mayfield throws it on a line because he's thinking if he puts too much air on it, the safety could come over and knock the play away. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to put it on a line, try and put it on his body instead of leading him. And then he throws it too far behind.
Is that a chemistry thing, or what is that?
No, that's just overthinking it. If you're Baker Mayfield, you're overthinking it. You're like, too much air, the safety's going to get there. And I'm like, you know, wow, gives the Viking the opportunity now. 1 timeout. And
Westbrook will chase it out. Cousins comes in. 1 timeout. Down by 7. And he'll have it beginning at his own 27.
And Kevin, I'm not making it. It's not an easy thing. You have fractions of a second back there as a quarterback to make a decision.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, we know it's a deep safety. I got this route. I got a wheel going. If I go too high, the safety's going to come over. Okay, I'm going to put it on his body so I don't overthrow it. And then he ends up throwing it behind. So there's a lot that goes through your mind as you're about to make that throw. It's not as easy as it seems. But what a missed opportunity. And now what a great opportunity for this Vikings offense to try and finish this thing off with 1 timeout in their pocket.
6 in the secondary, 1st and 10. Cousins pressured, incomplete to Cook, and Garrett got back there and put his pressure on that pocket. 2nd down and 10. The only reason we bring this up is because the chemistry thing between Beckham and Mayfield's been talked about so much.
Well, and when week 7 he tore his ACL, he hadn't been able to get back, and last week was his first time on the field, so that it takes some time. It takes the chemistry of it, takes reps, quarterback, receiver. But for the Vikings, Kirk Cousins talked to us about we've got to get the Browns out of their 4 rushers, and they've been able to get pressure with 4 rushers.
2nd and 10, batted down. Right inside. Was that Malik Jackson?
Once again.
It was Malik. He's 6'5".
Yes.
And by the way, no quarterback in the NFL has more passes batted down than Kirk Cousins.
Watch Jackson here. He knew he was getting double teamed, so he's like, okay, I'm just going to stop here. Garrett was bringing pressure from the outside. He's like, I'm just going to stop. I'm getting double teamed. I'll try and time it out, and he did. He did perfect. That's 2 series in a row now with the batted pass.
That's the 3rd batted pass Cousins has had this season. 11 last season. 3rd most. 3rd and 10. Cousins. Good pocket. Outside, it goes to Osborne. Good tackle made, reading it well, Hill. And a gain on the play of 4. They put him at the 31, and the clock is ticking, and 1 timeout for Minnesota.
I almost call the time. You have to get this 4th down, so use the last one, get the right play you want in there.
And he goes right here, batted down, intercepted, and picked up on the ricochet by Delpit.
They're either going to get a hold or a pass interference, one of the two.
Hill is the one, I think, that had that ball ricochet off his glove.
And why I say the timeout is because 4th down, you've got to get the exact play you want. So there's no reason to save it if you don't get the conversion. Now though, they're going to get a pass interference call and get 1st down across midfield.
Pass interference. Defense number 23.
Hill.
Place at the spot of the foul. Automatic. 1st down.
Browns defense, 3rd pass interference penalty of the season. They had an NFL low 4 all of last year.
Yeah, you see Hill extend the jersey of Osborne, and
got 27 seconds. They've got a timeout, and they're at their own 49. Cousins, 1st and 10. Going deep on the side and incomplete with a nice play by Ward. And he's defending Justin Jefferson. Incomplete, 2nd down and 10, 22 seconds to go.
Kevin, how about the aggressiveness? How about the aggressiveness? This is Joe Woods goes man coverage.
Wow, what a play by
They're
Ward.
up by a touchdown. Ward just got beat by Jefferson on the last series.
And Ward's had a slow start to the season.
Earlier, he got the perfectly thrown pass over the shoulder, and that time, wow, what a gutsy call and a great defensive effort by Ward.
6 defensive backs, 2nd down and 10. Look out for Clowney. There goes the ball, and it's incomplete, and Clowney made that happen. Pressuring the pocket, 3rd and 10 and 17 seconds to go. Clowney back in after leaving earlier. Now Myles Garrett is going to leave. But Clowney back out there, and that was a big play as he came in off the wing.
Garrett got double teamed and got his helmet knocked off.
Still the 6 in the secondary and 3rd and 10. And Cleveland takes a timeout. Boy, the Vikings, they've had so many close losses. 2 losses by a total of 4. Earlier on, heartbreaking loss, Cook fumbles, and the Bengals get a field goal with no time left. And Cincinnati wins. Then Greg Joseph's 37-yard field goal attempt against Arizona sailed wide right, and the Vikings lost there. And they won last week against Russell Wilson in Seattle here in the Twin Cities. And their 2nd consecutive home game. But now, Trent, 3rd and 10. What were you laughing about?
I was laughing because I think Kevin Stefanski was like, why isn't Myles Garrett on the field? And they're like, well, he got his helmet knocked off. He's catching his breath. And he's like, well, I've got some timeouts. I'm going to call timeout so I can get freaking Myles Garrett on the field for this critical 3rd down.
3rd and 10. Cousins. And going deep, and he's got Thielen at the 31. Adam Thielen makes the grab. It's a 19-yard pickup for number 19 to the 32. Clock at 11 seconds. And the Vikings use their last timeout. Thielen's 3rd catch for 46 yards. It couldn't have come at a better time.
Well, where the Browns have been aggressive and going man coverage, this time they go cover 2. They go zone, and Thielen and Cousins are just on the same page. They've got a great feel in terms of especially attacking zone coverage where they can find the windows and creases. Now with just 12 seconds left in the game, you've either got to take a shot to the end zone or multiple shots to the end zone in 12 seconds.
That's how you'd be thinking.
Any completion, you've got to get it to the sidelines and out of bounds, or it's got to be in the end zone. So out of bounds or in the end zone. If he's tackled in bounds, you can't get up and get another ball snap.
Vikings are out of timeouts. 1st and 10. And to the side and incomplete at the 10. Thielen over there, coverage by Hill. 8 seconds left, 2nd and 10 from the 32.
The Browns have been consistently working with this 4-man rush, and they've been able to apply pressure.
They were aggressive last week against Chicago. That defense of Cleveland aggressive today against Minnesota.
And look at it. All 4 guys on that defensive line have their hands on their hips. They know they've got 8 more seconds of game time. They got to keep getting after the quarterback and put some pressure on Cousins.
Second down and 10. Here comes Jackson. There goes Cousins. He's got Conklin. He's out of bounds. Shoved out of play. 26-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play. The clock at 3 seconds. Vikings took over at their 28 with 1:01 left. 9th play of the drive coming up. They're down, as you can see, by 7. So now I guess it's pretty elementary, right?
You have to take a shot to the end zone. So
look how tired that defense.
Oh, it is. They're tired. Look at their hands over, bent over. But you got to, if you're the Vikings.
Timeout Cleveland to catch their breath. That line is exhausted.
Well, I know Adam Thielen is their main guy in the red zone, right? That's the guy he's leaned on. He's got a great connection with Kirk Cousins, and Thielen leads the team in touchdown receptions. But throwing it from the 26-yard line, and you know it's basically got to be some kind of jump ball, because the Browns have shown this entire time quarter coverage. So four deep secondary lineup. You're going to have to get some kind of pressure on the safety in the middle of the field and then take your one-on-one shot to Jefferson. At least that's what I'm thinking going into this play, is you can get a one-on-one to Jefferson just with the size advantage, being able to climb up and make a contested catch. But it depends on how much time Cousins is going to have to make that kind of decision. And remember, no Ronnie Harrison, no Greg Newsome. Those two of their normal starters are out.
6 defensive backs, 3rd and 4. Could be the final play of the game. Here comes Clowney. There goes Cousins, and intercepted, picked off by Hill, or did it hit the turf?
Oh, it hit the ground. It hit the ground. Isn't it?
That's it. Game over. Cleveland has won, and they are tied for 1st in the AFC North. 3rd consecutive win for the Browns.
What a win for the Browns, Kevin. Kevin Stefanski coming back to Minnesota. Last effort. You could see Thielen trying to get back to the ball, and he was upset. He threw his helmet after that play. He thought he got pass interference by Greedy Williams.
Let's take you now to New York and James Brown.